Hey guys, so for this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 15 Fortnite teams in the world. It's been around 8 or 9 months since I made my last Fortnite orgs tier list, meaning a lot has changed in the scene. New teams have entered, old teams have left, and a ton of fresh talent has been picked up. This makes it the perfect time to update my rankings. Now, the way this is going to work is I'll be ranking teams based on the competitive skill of their main roster, not on how many viewers they get on Twitch or how good their players are in Zone Wars, only competitive placements in recent tournaments. Furthermore, I'll be giving bonus points to teams at the top of their region and taking away points from teams that are inconsistent. Lastly, please remember this list is my own personal opinion. It's okay to disagree with me, just let me know down below why. Also, don't leave a dislike. Thus, I hope you're all ready for my 2021 org tier list. Without further ado, let's get right on into it. Starting us off at the number 15 spot is Become Legends. Become Legends, or BL for short, is one of the most underrated teams in all of Europe. They actually scouted a ton of the current top talent, including Hen, Anas, Flick, all before they started to dominate. Today, however, Become Legends consists of Noah Rayleigh, Seti, Artur, Pablo Wingu, Kitsi, Rifla, and Slicks. All of these guys are absolute beasts in their own ways. Pablo Wingu has won a bunch of solo cash cups, Seti won DreamHack December, Artur placed 3rd in the FNCS Duo Grand Finals, and Noah Rayleigh, well, he's Noah Rayleigh. This man placed 3rd in Trio Grand Finals, 1st in countless cash cups, 1st in DreamHack Duos. I could literally talk about how good he is for days. Seriously, I could. So don't worry if you have not heard of these guys, because I can almost guarantee you'll be hearing a lot about them very soon. Moving on to an org you definitely have heard of, we have Sentinels. Sent Fortnite is one of the more interesting teams within the NA Fortnite scene. They've been involved for a few years at this point, yet they have not really changed their roster. They still have Bugha, Animal, Aspect, Zypha, and High Sky. In fact, they even kept Karos, the only missing member of their original Chapter 1 squad. They kept him as a content creator, which I think is pretty darn awesome. As far as their player placements go, Sen has consistently been decent. Bugha dominated last season's FNCS, he won week 1, won his heat, and finished 5th in Grand Finals. Aspect popped off in a bunch of cash cups, made grands, Zypha did too. This team was simply very solid all around. Also, please do not call me a Bugha fanboy. I know I am, still, I'm trying not to be biased. It's hard. You just cannot convince me that Sentinels is not a top 15 team worldwide. Speaking of great American organizations, let's talk about Team Liquid. If I was making this rankings video back in Chapter 1 Season 5, not Chapter 2 Season 5, then Team Liquid would be a lot higher up. Rest in peace, Spoach, Vivid, and Chap. The main reason I'm ranking Liquid so low this time around, I mean top 15 isn't bad, is because they just recently lost their biggest asset. If you don't know who I'm talking about, they let go of Sented and chose not to resign him. FaZe Clan actually swooped in to pick him up a few weeks ago. With this action, Team Liquid is left with Stretch, Mitro, Riversand, and Fiber. Don't get me wrong, these are some extremely talented players. Both Mitro and Stretch were in contention for the best players in their respective region. It's just, in my opinion, there have been much more deserving players and teams from this past season. One of those teams happens to be another NA organization named Luminosity. At the moment, Luminosity's competitive Fortnite roster is made up of Joji, aka my son, Slacks, the NA FNCS champion, Jamper, my FNCS dark horse, and Zuni's one of my favorite controller scrimmas. You might think teams like BL or Team Liquid are more talented, maybe skill-wise they have better players, but remember, this is all about recent placements. There's no denying that Mitro at his peak is better than the majority of players on higher ranked orgs. However, he did not grind last season, and the fact he failed to qualify for heats shows that. Oh, also, LG claims the best trio in North America because of Slacks. He won FNCS. Therefore, while it may seem like Luminosity shouldn't be this high up, their players' elite level placements last season say otherwise. After Luminosity, at the number 11 spot is Xtra. Established in 2018, Xtra Gaming is one of the top organizations in all of Fortnite. They started off pretty timid in the scene, only signing a few NA West players, but recently made some huge moves. They signed Miro, Alige, Illist, Furious, they re-signed Reed, and then they also held on to their original signings, Midi, Former, Vert, and Quinn. Something you may have noticed from the roster I just listed is that it's mainly controller players. Like, Reed is arguably the best controller player on West, Furious is the solo FNCS winner, Illist is a 5x Cash Cup winner, and Miro is the Chapter 2 Season 4 FNCS winner. This doesn't earn them any extra points, by the way, I just think it's pretty cool. Regardless, this team easily has the potential to move up on my list. For now though, number 11 it is. teams. On to the top 10, let's begin with NRG Esports. NRG is one of the largest organizations in all of France. They have teams in Call of Duty, Rocket League, Rainbow Six. It only made sense to compete in Fortnite as well. Currently, NRG's roster is comprised of mainly EU players. I'm talking about Amplify and Matzo. Those are Benji Fishy's teammates, along with Skite, Falcon Lee, and one North American legend, Saf. Every single one of those players I mentioned is a top tier pro. Matzo and Amplify nearly won this season's FNCS on EU. Falcon Lee popped off as a solo, and Saf almost won 3 trio cash cups. Saf actually got picked up like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I probably would not have had them this high up without him. Still, considering the overall breadth of their roster, NRG 100% deserves this spot on my list. Still on board with Europe, Gamma Gaming is going to take up our 9th spot. Gamma is a relatively new org in the Fortnite scene that has quickly established itself as a top EU contender. Its small yet scary roster includes Thomas HD, Kami, Marin, and Shinken. Just like with Luminosity, all 4 of these guys are absolute beasts. Thomas HD plays top 5 in solo FNCS, second in trio grand finals. Kami plays top 6 in the past 2 FNCSs. Marin won the DreamHack Winterland, and Shinken won the Season X grand finals. Had Marin or Shinken placed a little bit better last season, mainly in trio FNCS, then it would be really hard to not put Gamma Gaming in my top 5. They would literally have 4 of the best players in the world's hardest region. Bruh. Unfortunately though, for the time being, Gamma Gaming is going to have to settle for top 9. Just edging out Gamma is another new organization named Endless. Unlike most of the other orgs I've listed, Endless has a huge roster. They currently have signed Reverse 2K, Day, Okus, P-God, Tragics, Frey, Gabe, Pandoosh, TJs, Kennys, and Ping. The list is endless. See what I did there? Seriously though, while their roster may be huge, it's still extremely talented. You have Day, probably the best controller player in the world right now. You have Reverse 2K, his true teammate who also won the Season 4 FNCS Grand Finals and placed top 5 last season. You have Tragics, a 2-time solo Cash Cup winner in Season 5 alone. You have Flop with Frey. You have so many insane players that I don't even have time to list out all their accomplishments. So yes, I did take some points off for the sheer size of their roster. It's only fair. The top players within it are why I'm ranking Endless so high up. Following Endless at the number 7 spot is Wave Esports. Even if you do not follow the EU competitive scene, you should know who Wave are. Not only were they one of the first organizations to dominate EU, but they've also proven to be insanely good talent scouts. Wave's 4-man roster includes Janice Z, Vadil, Steelix, and Advise. Right off the bat, Janice and Vadil are up for debate as the best player in the entire world. Janice won solo FNCS Grand Finals, Season 5 Trio Grand Finals, and placed second in Season 4 Trio Grand Finals. Then Vadil, arguably the best fighter just ever, won a bunch of solo cash cups, trio cash cups, and placed 3rd in last season's FNCS. Steelix and Advise are the lesser known players on their roster that are still great. I remember Steelix won a solo cash cup. Let's be real here though, Vadil and Janice alone make any team top 10 worthy. Right before the top 5, our 6th rank belongs to BBG. Something kind of funny about this is that I actually asked Young Calc to help me make these rankings. I wanted a pro opinion on my list and he gave me his. Let's just say he might be a little mad for BBG's position since I kinda swapped it. Sorry buddy. Anyways, BBG's current Fortnite roster includes Kanata, Bucky, Calc, Haz, AJ, and Creo. These guys were the team to beat 2 seasons ago. The core 4 of Kanata, Creo, Bucky, and Calc made it hard to put any other org above them. Like Calc won an FNCS, Bucky and Kanata were god fighters who won multiple cash cups. They also placed 3rd in the Season 5 Grand Finals, which I know is out of chronological order. Still, Creo finished top 10. I get that a few of them did not have the greatest Season 5 placements. That's kind of why they are not top 5, but BBG altogether is still elite. Top 5 time, we're going to begin with 100 Thieves. I've always been a huge fan of this organization for a few different reasons. First off, it's owned by Nadeshot, the GOAT. Second off, they have sick merch. And third, they have always been at the top of my Fortnite team tier list. At the time I'm making this video, the 100 Thieves squadron is made up of Arkram, Rex, Mr. Savage, and Falconer. 3 of those 4 were actually signed since the World Cup days, which I think is pretty cool. They have somehow stayed at the top since that time. And just for a sneak peek at some of their ridiculous achievements, they include Arkram winning solo FNCS, Arkram and Rex winning both Season 4 and Season 5 Trio FNCS, Mr. Savage winning the last DreamHack LAN, and Falconer placing top 5 in nearly every Grands on West. Hopefully in-person events come back soon. I feel like that would give 100 Thieves a huge buff, otherwise they're gonna stay at number 5. On the topic of buffs, rank number 4 is an org that got a huge one. Can you guess who it is? Yep, it is G2 Esports. Not many people know this, but G2 was actually one of the first European teams to invest into Fortnite. Fortnite. They signed their first pro back in 2018, and they actually still have one of their original signings, Tohaj, as a member of their organization. It was not until 2020 when their roster truly became OP. They signed Lechi, Macwood, Jack, Jelty, Coop, and Smack.
Jerian, I don't even know who half those guys are.
Well, little Timmy, that's because you only watch clicks. Jack won last season's trio FNCS, Macwood finished 3rd, Coop won a solo FNCS and DreamHack, Jelty is the best high pink player, and Lechi is the controller king. I really would not be surprised to see G2 higher in the future. They could even take the number 1 rank. In the meantime though, they're gonna remain underrated at the number 4 spot. Down to the top 3, it would be a crime to not include FaZe Clan. When I first made my list for this video, FaZe was not that high up. Don't kill me, I still had them in my top 10, it's just they weren't top 3 worthy in my opinion. Well, that was until they picked up Sentinels and King. Yeah, those 2 additions on top of their already stacked roster. Remember, they have Bizzle, Mega, Dubs, Mongrel, Nate Hill, and Funk Bomb. Those pickups made them a shoo-in for the top 3. How could they not be? Sentinels nearly won Season 5 FNCS Grand Finals. King is the literal king of Brazil. Mongrel had a slow last season, but pumps are back and he's Mongrel. And then Bizzle, Dubs, and Mega have been consistently at the top for years now. Could you imagine if Jarvis was still playing too? Oh my goodness gracious. Rest in peace, FaZe Jarvis. Coming in at the number 2 spot, they nearly had the title of best Fortnite org. It is NRG Esports. NRG has long been king of the Fortnite competitive scene. They had the most unstoppable roster in the world a few months back. That's not to say it's bad now or anything. I just want to explain why they're not number 1. The NRG team is made up of Benjifishy, Clicks, Edgy, Zate, Epic Whale, and Ronaldo. They used to have Unknown Army as well, but they recently parted ways. Feels bad, man. I think you guys all know how good these players are. Every single one of them is at the top of their region. Yes, even Ron would be if he put his all into competitive. He won an FNCS for God's sakes. It's just, while their placements are very good, top 5 in grands, winning different cash cups, there happens to be one team with even higher and more consistent placements. Drop a comment of who you think it is before the reveal. Really quickly, I'm gonna say who it is in a second. I want to shout out some honorable mentions. These are teams that just missed the cutoff, but still do belong in the video. From North America, we have C9, Fusion FS, Optimal Ambition, TNA, Enterprise Gaming, XSET, and 9 Lives. From EU, there's MCES, Nordavind, Navi, Cartel Esports, Lootboy, Gamers Origin, and Team Heretics. From OCE, there's Team Power and Paradox Esports. And from Brazil, there's SNG. Again, all these teams are great, they are just not in the top 15 yet. You never know when they might get there. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. The best Fortnite team in the world is undoubtedly Guild Esports. Guild recently exploded onto the competitive landscape, seemingly out of nowhere. They had never signed a pro Fortnite player before. In fact, they weren't even a functioning organization a year ago. That was until they picked up 4 of the best players in the entire world. They have Hen, the recent FNCS champion, also the best player in my opinion. They have Tayson, the only back-to-back FNCS champion in EU. He's in my opinion the second best player in the world. And then they also have Anas and Flick, the season 5 EU FNCS Grand Final runner-ups. I kid you not, this is the most stacked Fortnite roster ever. Even more stacked than NRG when Unknown was on them and he placed in everything. When you have the most consistent players on the hardest region in the world, I believe you deserve the title of the best Fortnite team hands down. Overall guys, those are the top 15 Fortnite organizations in the world. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with me, as well as list any orgs you felt I may have left out. On top of that, if you enjoyed the video or you learned something new, do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel somewhere down here. Wait, I don't have a face cam on, but also turn on post notifications. Shout out to everyone on the screen for using code Jerian. I'm still going through all the shout outs. You know I'm gonna get to all of them though, I always do. Just know I appreciate you all. Otherwise, that's it for me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.
Produced by Biggie. Awesome production.